And most of our decisions, if we admit them, are really fear-based, so maybe fear is a good place to start on the cultivation of wisdom. And then how do you discern what's fear versus wisdom? Would that work?
I love all of this, and I want to be sure to touch on letting go, detachment, and embodying gratitude. And if we learn how to coexist with fear, then we can befriend suffering in a much easier way. We are human beings, which means we're always going to experience suffering. And if we can befriend suffering and work towards alleviating the suffering of ourselves and others, that is the road to enlightenment, ultimately. You're absolutely right. Fear is the driver of most things.
Mm.
And when we practice getting still or becoming aware of our awareness, then we can identify, is this fear who's leading me right now? Do I really need to make a decision right now, or can I wait until tomorrow because the fear will go away? And the getting still part of this system of these pillars is the most simple. And I'll start with, it's an acronym: stop, tune in, intuit, listen to that, and then learn from it. And if you get still when you are thinking about making a decision or reacting instead of responding, you can identify the fear that is driving your response. And control is all fear-based. We have absolutely no control over anything. And that's the impermanence part of this practice. If you can practice impermanence and detach from an outcome, you will alleviate so much of your and others' suffering. Something that I do when it comes to impermanence is I make sure that everyone in my life knows exactly how I feel about them. When my husband, when I travel, I leave notes, cards around the apartment so he knows exactly how I feel. When he travels, I slip a note into his suitcase. My team knows exactly what to do if I don't come back to the world tomorrow. And that's the reality of this. We
Yeah.
don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So if we show up practicing impermanence, and that's a very dramatic practice. If you are a leader, a wise leader, you have to realize that your best team member might decide to have a baby. They might decide to move to Portugal. Nothing is permanent. And if you're constantly aware of, okay, if I lose my best team member, do I have systems and processes in place to be able to replace them so that the building doesn't collapse or the company doesn't implode? That's what practicing impermanence is. And then the fear part of that, if I'm constantly worried about what's going to happen, that is a waste of time because we don't know what's going to happen. So if we let go of that fear and detach from the outcome, we can eliminate a lot of suffering. I'll give you an example. When I was choreographing Romance and Cigarettes, John Turturro's feature film with Kate Winslet, James Gandolfini, Bobby Cannavale, Christopher Walken, Susan Sarandon, Eddie Izzard, this was a cast of
Amazing.
dreams. I got to work with all of these incredible, incredible artists. And we were on set for months. I was in this bubble of creativity and fanciness. Seriously, it was fancy.
That was a fancy event.
It was fancy. And I attached to the outcome in my mind that
Mm.
was, my career is going to skyrocket. I am going to be the next it choreographer in Hollywood. This is going to be the next Rocky Horror. It's going to change my life forever. My door is going to be knocked down. And a big studio bought the rights to the distribution and it went nowhere. It sat on a shelf for years. No one saw the movie. No one
Wow.
saw the movie. And I had attached to that outcome and it created so much suffering because when it didn't go anywhere, I couldn't, I was, I was deeply, deeply disappointed. And as soon as I recognized, wait a minute, I am gripping and attaching to what the outcome I thought should have been, instead of asking the question, what if nobody ever sees the movie? I'll make another movie. What if I never get a job as another choreographer? What if I do? And I did. And if you ask yourself the what if question when you're gripping and you're creating that attachment, you can let go of it and it helps alleviate that fear and that suffering simultaneously.
Yeah.